Quick snap.
This quick snap is one of 5 covering the fundamentals of defensive back play. It's a shorter part of an hour, 20-minute video that I put together that covers all the fundamentals that we coach our defensive backs to be able to execute. If you want to check that out, there will be a link to the description down below. I'll also put a link to all 5 videos that will be released through the course of the week, so that way you can go check those out if you missed any of them, or you're looking forward to them as they come up.
As mentioned, this is all going to be about defensive back fundamentals, and in particular, we're going to focus on the press technique of a defensive back, their ability to get up close, physical, and really determine the routes that that receiver can run and control that receiver from a close alignment. The last skill we need our defensive backs to be able to master is press technique, which is their ability to play tight man coverage and by alignment take away easy slant routes or hitch routes. The way we teach up press technique is we want to force the fade and play on top. And I think once a player gets good at the fundamental of vertical stem drill and being on top, horizontal stem drill, keeping their inside leverage anytime you're in press technique, and ultimately trail technique. Okay, I'm going to get beat because I'm playing tight, but I'm going to recover. I'm going to play the man, and by playing the man, I will be able to make a play on the ball and prevent the completion. To teach that, our defensive back's going to line on the inside shoulder, and they're ultimately initially shuffling to catch the release of the receiver. The key thing is they do not lunge. If you lunge forward, you will be in trail technique immediately, which defeats the purpose of pressing, which is take away the easy routes, force the fade, be on top. Against the inside release, so slant route, the key thing is you need to outside cross arm to get into your horizontal stem drill. You're ultimately opening your hips so you keep your inside leverage. Against the outside release, so a fade route, you're going to inside cross arm and ultimately get your hip stacked on the inside hip and on the top of the hip to be in the vertical stem drill. Ultimately, we progress that to a 5x5 box drill where that receiver is choosing to run a slant or a fade. So against the slant, again, inside leverage, need to cross arm with the outside hand so that way you end up bodying and getting your hips into the receiver's route and you flatten it, staying inside what you ultimately have already learned how to do in a horizontal stem drill. Against an outside release, you're going to cross arm with the inside arm and again get the hips and body to leverage that receiver's fade route flatter and wider than what the receiver wants while getting stacked on top of the near hip in the vertical stem drill that you've already mastered. So what we progress this to competition-wise, 5x5 box drill on the left here, the defense wins if they flatten that slant route and they have inside leverage as the receiver comes out of the box, or if they widen that fade route. If you widen them outside of the box, you've won. Like the quarterback's never going to have an angle to throw the ball if you flatten the route that badly. And then if you're on top as you come out of the box, it's a defensive win. Offense wins if they beat the defensive back to the inside of the box. If the defensive back's trailing, at best he's going to be able to make a tackle in a game, so that's why that's a win for an offense. And if you beat the defensive back out of the top of the box and you have him in trail technique. Trail technique's not the end of the world. You still got to make a play on the ball, but for the purpose of the drill, that would be considered an offensive win. We want to stay on top because then we get a shot at an interception as a defensive back. If I'm in trail technique, I'm playing the hands, I'm playing the man, and I do not get a chance to look and lean and make a play on the ball for an interception unless I'm on top. Some film of it here. The ball's on the bottom of the screen. So, no, it's just barely inside leverage here. Great use of the arms. He doesn't really get a clear release here, and that's fine. That's a thing. He feels a little bit of an outside release, so he punches with the inside arm. That takes away any chance of a slant. Slows up the release. Right here, the problem is his foot's dropped a little bit, so he ends up a little bit more in a trail technique than truly being on the top of the hip. Probably an offensive win. Spin move by Mason. Key thing here, though, off that spin move, Cody punches with the outside arm. Hips are starting to open up. Cody's, for all practical purposes, on top. Okay. Mason gets beat by Jamie on this rep. This is where the defender loses right there. That outside break, the inside arm needs to be punching the hip. So he opens up and turns and is able to run and be on top faster. Here, Jamie just gets beat by, not terrible. He's in trail technique, and the quarterback's going to have a chance to throw the ball here. But he does get the outside arm. It just he doesn't get enough of the outside arm on him, so he doesn't flatten the route and buy himself time to get on top. Sophomore Kyle is just going to get beat up by senior Noah. Key thing, though, all right, Kyle gives him that little move to the outside, so he starts the punch with the inside arm. The strike should be lower. Preferably we want that on the pec if it's here. Pec to the hip area. But because he gets that outside strike when the inside strike, when Kyle comes back, now it's two hands, shuffle, and he's going to make a play on the ball. That's not getting completed. Kyle just gets beat by Drew, our quarterback. Does a good job recovering in trail technique, but we don't want to be in trail. Drew there on Cody. Breaks inside, puts the outside arm on him, flattens the route. Probably a win for the defense. I'm going to argue that is a win for the offense. The route's ridiculously flat, but the whole goal in press is to make sure we don't give up that inside leverage. Probably not a realistic route, though, so I'd maybe call that a tie. There's way too much. Again, the route's probably flatter than what we want. That receiver's inside. Offensive win. Not terrible by Jamie, just never gets hands on that hip. So his in trail technique, offensive win. So now some game film. Top of the screen. Great job of striking. Right there, you see the inside arm. Expands the route. Ball's got to be thrown perfectly. We almost find the interception with our safety helping. We're in recover 2-man under. Next play of the game. They go with the slant. This is another Caleb that we had playing for us. You see his... Now, this ball maybe doesn't even get thrown. He puts his inside arm on first. The outside arm is on the back, but that's why there's a little window here that the quarterback thinks he can throw it to. Caleb does recover. Ball's overthrown a little bit. And now Chase is going to have... I'm going to watch the whole play because why not? Chase gets a long touchdown, I think 107 yards to end the half. Heck of a play by Chase Potter there, thanks to Caleb's press coverage. Bottom of the screen, let you see the hands here. So right now you can very clearly see. All right, both hands go towards the chest. The key part, as the receiver breaks out, you can see Caleb's inside arm working on the receiver. Ends up on top. Vertical stem drill, has a chance to intercept the ball, and most importantly, breaks up the pass. Pretty good by Noah on a slant. Now, not getting as handsy as we'd like. But right there, he reestablishes, all right, outside cross arm. I'm going to be able to body the man. And when the ball is thrown, he tries to make a play on the ball.
Thanks for checking out this quick snap on Coaching Football with Brian Klee. Please follow me on Twitter at Coach Klee. Subscribe to the channel, Coaching Football with Brian Klee, by clicking down below. And if you have any further follow-up questions, email me at coachbrianklee@gmail.com.